What's happening, people? Hope you're all keeping well. Here's your opposition preview then for Tottenham versus Arsenal, the North London derby. Big game, and for both teams, quite the contrary, really. Arsenal, juggernaut going for all four competitions, whereas Tottenham are just trying to play Premier League football. Let's be real, for next season. So complete other end of the table, but form goes out the window so often in these big games, and in particular with the North London derby. I'm joined by a fantastic Arsenal fan and content creator, finalist as well at the Football Content Awards last year in Sophie, Gooner Gossip TV. Sophie, thank you so much for your time. How have you been doing?
Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to come on your channel again and talk about the game. I'm all good, thank you. How are you doing today?
No, I'm very good, thank you. Thank you very much for coming on. Tell people a little bit about you and what you do on social media, because you do loads of brilliant stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so obviously I am a big Arsenal fan and I have my own YouTube channel, Gooner Gossip TV, where I do obviously do content for the men's team, the women's team. I do previews, reviews, sometimes I do watch alongs, obviously. For England, I do videos when I can really for them. So that's basically what I do on my YouTube channel.
Great stuff. Keep up the good work. And again, thank you very much for talking to me today. Let's get into it then, shall we? So I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask for the sake of it anyway. So talk to me about Arsenal season so far. What have you made of it? I mean, could it have been much any better? How could it have been better at all, really?
Yeah, it has been a really good season. I think I always take it a game at a time, and I think at the moment we are, I think, 4 points. I think we're still 4 points ahead. So it's sort of kind of we have to sort of be careful at the moment because we need to win these games. And obviously, I know for you guys, you have a bit of a rest. So we obviously are playing usually twice a week at the moment. So we have had a few more injuries, but I think it's been a great season. I think sometimes we've played great and got the results. Sometimes we haven't played great and got the results. So I think we can play kind of ugly and win games, and I think we've definitely improved this season. I think we've got Gyökeres, who is definitely growing in confidence and getting more goals, and I think Zubimendi as well has been an excellent signing for us. So I'm happy with how it's going. I think it's really good to see obviously Saka come back in the team. We've just obviously beaten Wigan 4-0, so I think we're in a good place at the moment. But it's so tough with the league because it's sort of hard when you're 4 points, because it's great to be 4 points. I know if I said to you, you'd kill to be in that position, but I think because of the past, we've been at top and we could have extended our lead at times. So, but I'm a bit nervous about the league, but I'm hopeful we can win it. And I think it's been a great season. Obviously, in the League Cup final, we've gone to the next round of the FA Cup. So yeah, I feel like we're in a really good place at the moment.
Sophie, thank you very much. I've got some end of season predictions to come once we've talked about this game, so that should be interesting to see how you think, how many trophies Arsenal will win. It's interesting because, of course, in all four competitions. You mentioned there that a little bit nervous, and without giving, of course, any predictions away, we know that in 2026 you have dropped a few more points than you have done in the whole rest of the season so far. So, I mean, you've touched on it there, but does that concern you a little bit? Because everyone will agree, Arsenal fans included, football fans in general as well, that Arsenal are flying. You're doing very well. It's been a close to dream season so far. Of course, all the big stuff yet to come. But does it concern you a little bit that you are starting to drop a few points here and there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not the end of the world if you maybe pick up a few draws, a couple of draws. I mean, we've not been losing too bad, so I think what the problem that we have is, I think it's the performance that is probably bad. I mean, the results aren't great to drop points, but I think the performances have been a bit underwhelming. I think we have played quite ugly this season. I don't think we've played the best football, and I think as fans, I think if we're not going to get any result out of that, then it doesn't feel worth it to play that bad. So I think if we are going to play a little bit maybe more defensive or maybe not as attacking, you want to be able to win these games. I think a lot of it is to do with the fact we'll score a goal and then we'll sit back, and we need to keep going and building on that. So I feel like it has been disappointing. I mean, the Brentford one, I wasn't surprised at, but that was quite disappointing because we did score and I really thought we were going to see the game out. So I think I think it's not ideal, but we are still in a good position, 4 points ahead. I think I don't want to look back at the end of the season and think, "If only we'd have beaten Brentford, if only we'd have beaten Nottingham Forest away." So I think it happens in football, don't expect this team to win every game. You're gonna be tired, we're gonna not play our best. But I think when we're having quite a few games like that, you do have to question it, obviously. I know our attack has been a big issue this season for me. I think defensively, I think we can't deny we are a very good team defensively, but I think our attack is not our best at the moment. But yeah, I think we just have to pick ourselves up from this and try and go on a good run now.
Definitely, absolutely. Now's the time as well. And City look a lot stronger. Do you agree? Well, that's what I think. I want to know if you agree. I think City look a lot stronger after the January window. Mark Gay and Semenya, they just feel better defensively and, picking up more points. Do you think that's a coincidence,
Yeah.
or do you think they generally have improved with those two coming in?
I think if they hadn't have brought anyone in, I think they'd probably have struggled. I think Semenyo has been a great signing. He's been getting quite a few goals, and I think he's been a joy to watch personally. And obviously, I think they needed to bring in a better defensive player because I think they've been conceding a little more than they probably would like. I do agree with you. I think Man City do seem to be on a bit of a run at the moment, and they seem to have a lot of confidence. But I think that's probably a big factor is the players they have brought in the window.
I agree with that. Sophie, thank you. Before we get on to the game then, about Spurs then, what have you made of Spurs this season? I mean, 16th in the Premier League, but qualified in that, ultimately went through automatically in the Champions League, finished inside the top four in the end. Of course, you guys topped the Champions League, but for us, that felt very impressive, but quite the contrary in the league. And Thomas Frank's now been dismissed, and we had a new manager, of course, coming on an interim basis, Igor Tudor, just on a contract till the end of the year. So it's all go at Tottenham. So what have you made of it? I mean, it looks quite disappointing as Spurs fans ourselves, and I think it probably looks the same as an outside point of view, but I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I think as well, if you look at last season when Ange was here, it's like you did finish in a similar position, and it's difficult as well because I think as an outsider, I do think to myself, would it have been better for you to keep Ange and maybe build on that for maybe another season or just to see how it goes? It's difficult. It's really hard because um, you look at the league table, even though you did win the Europa League, you look at the league table and it is pretty bad last season. And though right now you are really fighting to sort of stay up, and it's crazy to me and you having these conversations because Tottenham usually would be maybe around the top six, top four. So I think it is crazy. I think something probably needed a change because I think you weren't really winning games. It was you were going on a bad sort of cycle of losing games and not performing as good as you should have been. Um, I think the players need to take responsibility. I think again it's difficult because I think the managers need time to bring in their own players and to have a few windows and then you can really judge them properly. So it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think with Thomas Frank, I wasn't surprised, and I'm sure you probably weren't surprised that he went because you were in a bad position. Um, I think there were positives about him. Like I think there were times you could see the players were playing for him, but then other times the performances were just so bad. So, yeah, I think you're gonna have to see how you get on with this new manager. But I think for you guys, I think you just need to get up that table because it's quite scary how close you are to the bottom. But I don't think you'll get relegated. I think the team need to start fighting more and realize because like, if it ever came down to that, it would be quite shocking to see that happen. So I think you just have to see how you can get on for this part of the season because I think there's about 12 games left and they're going to be crucial for Tottenham.
I couldn't agree more with you. What do you think about this manager then, Igor Tudor, in particular? I didn't know too much until I performed some, research. If I'm honest, but he's managed clubs such as Galatasaray, Juventus, Hajduk Split, a load of clubs like that, and the win percentage isn't too bad. But it seems like he makes an instant impact. Then things fall apart. He falls out with people, and he can't stay really any longer than 7 to 8 months, and no longer than a year ever. He's been through 10 clubs in 13 years, and that's with breaks in between as well. So is it just a case of like just get, as you said there in your own words, get Spurs through to the end of the year, but then like move on? And do you think that's the way that Spurs should do it rather than, I mean, I'm sure that the plan is just for him to be clear just for the end of the season. But do you think if he impresses, I know it's hindsight, of course, it would be nice, but do you think any chance he could get the permanent job if he impresses?
I think I think if he gets you in a good position, or maybe if he got you to some sort of final of a trophy, or if he did something kind of like that, I think for us, I think as someone looking like as an outsider of this, I think if he can get you up that table, if you finish maybe 10, a bit above 10, 10th, I think he just needs to do his best, and I'm sure he will take it each game at a time. And it's going to be really interesting. Though we'll speak about this in a minute. Obviously, the game coming up as well, and I think whenever you get a new manager, you do get that sort of new manager bounce where you will probably see your team perform a lot better for a few games, or maybe to the rest of the season. And it does dip a little bit. I think Spurs need to really kind of think about the best manager going forward, because you've had so many managers like in these past few years. Like it is crazy when you think about it, and it's sort of difficult because when you are quite low in the table, you don't really want to get relegated. You have to think about, just does the manager need to go, because it's difficult, because if you get relegated, then you could have changed things earlier. So do you get why Tottenham wanted to get rid of certain managers? But yeah, I think it's a difficult time, and I think for Tottenham fans' sake, you need to hope it does work out for the remainder of the season. But I think maybe it could come to a point where you might be thinking, you know what, he's not doing too bad. Could he maybe be the answer to us maybe for next season? But I think he's probably thinking he's just trying to help Tottenham do the best he can till the rest of the season. But I think you should see how it goes. But he could be the answer, or he might not be, and he might be someone that's just really helped you for the rest of the season.
Exactly, and if he keeps us up, but ultimately, and a lot of fans want Pochettino back. Do you think that Tottenham should be looking at that? Going back to an ex-manager. They say don't go back in football, don't go back to your ex as well with football. But do you think this is something that Tottenham will consider? Does that make you worry a little bit as an Arsenal fan, knowing that Pochettino brought good times to Tottenham and we're probably the most competitive under him?
It is crazy, isn't it, when you look back at that time, because obviously I don't remember too much about that time. I know you got to that Champions League final, and I was like, obviously thankfully Liverpool did win, but I was really stressed. And like you said, it makes us Arsenal fans feel stressed because he was good, and you definitely look back on it as a Spurs fan now, and you'll think that was a big mistake, maybe not to give him more time. Um, I think if I was in your shoes, I probably would want him back, and I'd probably give it a go. You got nothing to lose at this point, because I think a lot of Spurs fans have nothing but respect for him, especially to get you to a final. So I think for me, if he did come back to Spurs, I would feel a bit gutted, because I'd worry he would maybe get you there again. I don't know if it would happen, and if I'm being honest, I'm not sure. I think he would come back one day. I just don't know if that would be kind of maybe next season. I'm not too sure, but I do think it's difficult, because you've had managers like Conte as well, who really is a winner, and I think you need someone who's gonna change maybe the mentality, bring in their own players. I know I did watch a little bit of the interview with and Johnny Overlap, and he makes some great points, because with Tottenham, like if you wanted players, Declan Rice or whoever it is you wanted, I don't think you can always get them, and you can always pay that. I don't think Tottenham are doing those sort of things they should be doing for you to maybe get a top four, then challenge. So I think you need to sort of. I mean, obviously, you want to ship the best, but I think for the club in these windows, you need to be getting big players in. I think you've got some great players, so I do think you should do a lot better than what you are doing. So, yeah, I think it would be interesting to see who you actually do go with long term. Because I think you need the manager you're going to get. I think you need someone that's going to be there for a few years and help the team maybe win something, or just getting that top four, just getting back where you need to be as a club.
Sophie, thank you. Personally, as a Spurs fan, I completely agree with everything you said there about Pochettino, about Ange, everything, the mentality. Couldn't agree more, honestly. Thank you so much. But on to the game then, North London Derby on Sunday, which is upcoming. It's getting closer and closer as we speak. How do you feel about it as an Arsenal fan? Are you confident? There are some nerves going into it, knowing that, okay, you're definitely the better side, but, you just don't know what can happen in these big games. Like I said, form most of the time does seem to go out the window, and they never, although you've got the upper hand of us on derbies, not all of them would have been plain sailing. The one this season definitely at the Emirates was. So how do you feel going into it? We'll get onto your score prediction after.
I feel I feel mixed emotions, to be honest with you. I think you make a great point again that whenever we play each other, it doesn't particularly matter who has the best form or who's best in the league. These sort of games, it's so unpredictable. I mean, when we played you, I didn't think we'd win that comfortably, but again, I think we're way at Spurs for this one. So I'm nervous. I think if we can beat Wolves on Wednesday and we win maybe convincingly, I'd feel more confident. Um, I think it's so difficult because yeah, we need to beat Spurs. It feel great to beat you guys, but we do have to look at the league and we have to think like these games are must wins for Arsenal at the moment because we've dropped so many points. So yeah, I'm nervous. Because obviously when you do get a new manager, you get that new manager bounce. Obviously you guys have got a bit of a rest as well. We do play on Wednesday. So yeah, I'm interested to see if maybe we're going to rotate a bit on Wednesday and put a bit of a stronger team out against Tottenham. But yeah, I'm nervous. I kind of don't know what to expect from Tottenham now because you've got a new manager. The team might be up for it. But the thing is, you guys need to win as well. That's the problem. Like you've got to win because you're at that stage of the season where you need to really fight to sort of stay up and go on a good run. So I think both teams need a win in this one, which makes this
Mm.
one much more exciting because both of us have got something to fight for really in this game.
Definitely. And though Tudor, our interim manager, new manager, seems to be similar in terms of defensive football, he's coming out and saying, look, we want to win games. And, Frank was coming out, we're not saying it, but we felt like we were playing for the draw as much as I like Frank. That did seem the case, if I'm honest. I defended him for a long time, but we were playing for draws. Brentford away, we're clearly happy at that 0-0. And from what the players and manager says after and from the way we set up. So that was always concerning. So I think that will change slightly and it makes it more interesting for the neutral. But Sophie, can I get your score prediction and also who you think's going to score? I mean, by all means, be honest.
It's so tough right now as we're filming this. I've got there's two predictions I'm thinking. I think it's not going to be as easy as it was when we played you guys. I think you probably have learned that you can't ever get humiliated like that again, and you'll be better, especially you're at home. I'm thinking 2-2. It's so difficult right now, but again, I just think Tottenham are going to probably put in a big performance. They need to win. They have to, like you guys need to get up that table. But I think for us, we need to win. So I kind of maybe see both teams being quite defensive and maybe not going for it too much. So I feel like that's why I'm thinking a draw. I mean, I wouldn't be happy with a draw personally, but I think it could be a draw because I think both teams need a win for a different reason. And I don't know if we would maybe play not to lose because sometimes with Arteta we be more play not to lose and rather going out for it and getting the win. Um, in a bit of a risk. So yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2, but I think it will be an exciting game because it always is when we play each other.
Yeah, it always is. And actually, I was going to ask you, but you said that you wouldn't take a draw. But before we end, then some end of season predictions. If that's all right, I'm going to go one by
Yeah.
one with competition with Arsenal. And by all means, please be honest. Don't think, oh, I'm all saying all these good things. And please just say how you feel. So Arsenal in the Premier League, where do you think you'll finish?
It's so tough, isn't it? Because I'm caught in two minds with this because there's a part of me that thinks, you know what, we're gonna do it. Like I don't. A part of me doesn't see us battling it, but then from how we've been in the past, we've been 10 points clear and then we bottle it. So it's so tough. I'd probably edge towards us doing it because I do think we've got a bit more depth this season. So I'll go
Okay.
for us to win it.
Thank you. So first, Premier League champions, Champions League then.
I mean, I think with the Champions League, you always need a bit of luck. So I hope we have that. I'm not sure we can do it. I think this team is more of a team that will win the Premier League than Champions League. I'll go for a semi-final. I
Okay.
think I mean, yeah, I'll go for semi-final.
Fair enough. Thank you. It's still latter stages, but I have to say, of course, I think it's realistic to say you can get to the final if
Yeah.
you get it right. But there are some top teams in it, aren't there? Barcelona, Bayern Munich, so it could be really tough. So I have to see how Arsenal get on. What about the FA Cup then? As you said, you progress now to round 5.
I would love to win it. I think we'll get to a semi-final. I I think it's difficult because again, we could play Liverpool in the next round. We could play Man City, and I think you do want. It depends. You want easier teams in these draws, but I think we'll get to a semi-final.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, Carabao Cup. How far will Arsenal get in the Carabao Cup?
I think we'll win that. I think it's so difficult against Man City, but I think the team are going to be up for that. So hopefully we will win 2 trophies this season. That'd be a dream. But I think it's
Okay.
really interesting because I know some Arsenal fans sort of maybe joke about it or maybe seriously say it about winning all of them, and I think we need to calm down a bit. Like, if we win the league, that's amazing. I think it's good to be ambitious, but I do think we have to be realistic as well because injuries can happen. We don't know what can happen throughout the season. But yeah, I think if we won 1 trophy, I would just be very happy. But you never know, it's going to be an interesting end to the season as well.
There we go. Thank you. So you think that Arsenal will finish first in the Premier League, be crowned Premier League champions, and will also win the Carabao Cup. So 2 trophies for Arsenal. And you think both in the Champions League and FA Cup, you get to the semi-final. There we go. Not bad at all. Thinking Arsenal will win the double. Sophie, before we end then with Spurs. So 2 competitions only that the Spurs are in, the Premier League and Champions League. We're only really competing, to be honest with you, at the moment in the Champions League. You need to get together in the league. Where do you think Spurs will finish in both the Premier League and the Champions League?
I think in the Champions League, I think for Tottenham, that should be your aim to sort of every year to be there. So I think for you guys, I could maybe see you getting to a quarter final. I think. I don't know if you'd be there for a semi final. Again, it's about luck, but I think a quarter final could potentially see you there with the Premier League. It's so tough right now. I think maybe you'll get. I do think you'll get up that table. I'm thinking maybe 11th or 12th. I think you need to. I think obviously your aim is just going to be to stay up. Which might feel crazy to hear that because you should be a lot higher. But I think if you can just stay at the top end of that table, I think that'd be good. So I'll probably go 10th to 12th maybe for Tottenham.
Okay, Sophie, appreciate your honesty with all of that from Arsenal to Spurs predictions. And that wraps us up nicely. Thank you so much for your time. Tell people where they can follow you, your channel, and all your wonderful socials on, tell people where they can follow you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It always goes so quick, and I've had the best time. But yeah, obviously my YouTube channel is Gooner Gossip TV. If you do want to follow me on Twitter, it's TV_Gooner, and my Instagram is Gooner Gossip TV.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. And I wish you and channel all the best. So thank you, Sophie, very, very much. Wish you all the best. And for
Thank
viewers,
you.
a massive come on, you Spurs.